Hi, it's Dorothy Guining with Scrapbook in Quebec. Welcome to a special edition of A Punched Out Thursday to Die For, the weekly YouTube series that hopefully inspires you to dig into your scrapbooking tools. This week is special because we are celebrating Ronnie Sue Scrapper's recent YouTube milestone, achieving 2,000 subscribers on her channel. Well deserved, I must say. She is the queen of punch art, seriously. Below, you're going to find a bunch of links to the regular Punched Out Thursday gang, of course, along with some others. Now, I'm not sure if they will all be featuring tools, but there will be tons of inspiration there. And make sure you stop by Ronnie's channel because she has a giveaway. So here's what I'm going to be creating, and it is a Ronnie scrap lift. Mine is Thanksgiving themed, and I'm going to be using punches and dies to create layers, and I will be doing some punch art. And here's what I'm going to be using, or at least what I think I'm going to be using when I start. It's mostly from Carta's Welcome Autumn collection. And here are the tools. Now, I'll talk more about them throughout the process, and I will list them in the description box below. And finally, this is what I'm going to be scrap lifting. I love the tags, the film strip, everything really. And I am going to adapt it to make it work for 2 photos and a journaling box. But essentially, it's going to be the very same page design. So I'm going to put a link to Ronnie's process for this page below as well. So you're about to see what's on my desk, and I did prepare a frame style foundation with 3 sheets of paper, and I gutted 2 of them. I did that in advance, and there is a tutorial on my channel where I do that, so that will be linked up below. You're going to notice that on the white part of the foundation page, I did round the corners with a Creative Memories corner rounder, and I also matted 2 photos. It's on one mat, and I rounded the corners just on the top of it and at the bottom of it. So where it meets in the middle, it's not rounded. So I'm going to show you the paper I have here. Like I said, it's from the Welcome Autumn Carta collection. That there is what I gutted from behind the foundation page. And here are the pattern papers that I plan to use. I also have a cut apart sheet I have on my desk from the collection. I thought I may use it for embellishing, but I end up not using it. And I have the stickers from this collection. I end up using 1 sticker, but I am focusing on tools for this video. I want to embellish with my tools. And that is lined paper. It's actually graph paper from Simple Stories. It's part of their Woods Color Vibe collection. The flip side is either lined paper or graph paper. And I just showed you a basket of tools that I have handy. That's what I'll be digging into. Now you can see Ronnie's page is in the top left corner of the screen. And what I'm doing right now is cutting down a bunch of paper to create the layered photo mat that you see on the screen there. I end up doing mine probably bigger than what she has. Like I mentioned earlier, I do have 2 photos and a journaling box to put on this page. And I will put measurements for these papers on the screen a little bit later on when I adhere these pieces to the foundation page. Right now, I'm just going to place it on the page to give you an idea how I am going to place it. When I create layered looks on a layout, there's always a bit of waste in the sense that some of the paper gets covered up. So I'm putting the measurements for what I am doing on the screen, but I can tell you right now that the part that I'm wasting is that black paper. A lot of that gets covered up. So if you're scrap lifting me and you want to follow along and you don't want to waste paper, you may want to adapt that part. So essentially, that's how my page is going to be set up. Before I adhere these pieces, I am going to apply a bit of ink, not to the black paper because it's not really going to show, but I'm doing it around the orange and that kind of reddish brown paper. That is something I like to do when I add a lot of paper layers. I'm not a heavy inker, so I just put a little bit, but it does help unify the layers a bit. Also on Ronnie's page, the horizontal piece that I'm adhering right now, she has it in a banner, which is super cute. I am not going to be doing it in a banner because on top of that, I will be layering a journaling box later on. So I'm just going to leave it as is. So I'm adhering all of these pieces down. And once I do that, I am not going to adhere the photo mat right now because I do want to add some more layers. And I will be digging into my tools to create some more layers to add to this page. You'll see that in a minute. Like I said, Ronnie has a film strip there and some tags. I absolutely love it. They kind of transect the photo there, so I just love that. I don't know what you would call it, maybe kind of a T design or something, but it's basically they cross over. So the first thing I am going to do is get out my Creative Memories border maker system, and I'm going to be cutting into that graph paper I showed you earlier. I'm going to be, first of all, cutting this block at 6 by 6, and then what I'm going to use is the notebook cartridge from this Creative Memories border maker system. I think that one is expired. I do love notebook punch, and after I do this I am going to show you how to create one. Honestly, it's almost the same. It's really easy. There are a few other notebook border punches out on the market as well. I can't tell you where, but I have seen them around. What I'm showing you is a little hack here. Basically, I'm taking a hole punch and I'm punching a row of holes. On line paper, it's super easy because I'm just using the line as a guide there. And now you see me taking a pair of scissors and kind of cutting little chunks out towards the end. I trim it a little bit, and then you're going to kind of see how it looks compared to the other one. Not bad at all. And if you do it crooked, all you have to do is ruffle up the torn looking edge there. So now I'm going to make myself a film strip, and this is another cartridge for the Creative Memories border maker system. I absolutely love it. I don't think this one is available either. I do know Elizabeth Craft Designs has one. This one here, of course, I could cut a 12-inch one, but I am just simply using the paper that I gutted from behind the foundation page. But that's okay because you're going to notice I end up cutting it in half and making it look like it passes completely behind my photo. I'm also going to cut out a few tags. Now, I will be using dies from Tim Holtz, a tag set. I'm going to do it in that orange paper that has kind of a leaf print on it, tone on tone, as well as that yellow solid paper. That's part of the solid cardstock paper pack that goes with this collection. Anyway, I'm cutting out 2 tags here, and this particular die set comes with a reinforcer die as well. If you do not have a tag punch or a die, they're super easy to make. All you have to do is cut yourself a strip of paper, angle the corners, and punch a hole at the top in the middle, and you have yourself a nice little travel tag. Now I end up cutting out 3, one in a cut apart sheet, but I end up not using that. And now what I'm going to do is adhere these layers to the page. So you can kind of see there, I cut that film strip in half and I'm having it pass behind the photo. I will be layering up those tags, and again I'm going to be cutting these in half as well. I'm going to have part of it sticking out the top of the photo and part of it down at the bottom, and that is exactly what Ronnie did on her sketch. When I saw her page, that's exactly what I looked at. Those are 2 dies, 2 elements on a page that I absolutely love using, so that's why I selected this layout to scrap lift. And you can see there I'm adhering that journaling box down, which is quite big, but I am simply using it as a layering piece. And then I'm ready to adhere my photo down. Now I will adhere my photo block down at this point because I'm using an adhesive that permits me to lift it up for a little while and slip things underneath it, because I do plan to add some embellishing and it's going to come out from behind the photo. But my adhesive permits me to do that for a little while before it becomes permanent. If you have an adhesive that becomes permanent instantaneously and you're scrap lifting me, you may want to hold off on adhering your photo at this point. So I'm getting out my Big Shot again, and now I'm going to do some punch art to channel my inner Ronnie, because she is the queen of punch art. So what I'm doing here is taking 2 circle punches, a big circle and one that's a little bit smaller. I will put measurements for this on the screen, but the measurements really aren't important. The one in the middle is scalloped. So I put one inside the other. I'm running it through my Big Shot, and out pops this ring. And there's a little bit of scalloped on the inside, you can see. Now what I'm going to do is cut myself a bunch of strips of paper. What I'm creating here is a pie. This page, these are photos from Thanksgiving dinner in my hometown in Nova Scotia. So I'm cutting a bunch of strips of paper with a pair of scissors, so they are a little bit wonky. I end up cutting 10 of them, I think, and you're going to see what I do with them in a minute. I did slow this down quite a bit just to give you an idea of what I'm doing. Now I am cutting myself out another circle, the large one, on the flip side of that yellow paper. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm putting some liquid adhesive all around the edge. I think I would do it again with a tape runner, but in this case I'm doing it with liquid adhesive. And you can see I'm starting by putting the first strip in the middle, and then I work my way out. So I end up putting 5 lines on, I think, there. I'm overlapping them, and again, if I were to do it again, I wouldn't overlap it on both edges. I would just have it on the ring on one side and have it overlap on the other, but you know, it's all part of the learning process. Now what you see me doing is just some simple wonky paper weaving. So basically what I'm doing is in the other direction, I'm weaving the strips of paper through, and again, I'm adding a little bit of adhesive. And I did a practice one before this video, and it was much, much easier. I feel like I'm completely fumbling here. I guess it's the fear of the camera sitting right above my head. Anyway, I continue with this, and when I finally get through with all of this weaving, what you're going to see me do is get out my scissors and trim what kind of overhangs. I flip it over. There you see I have it all done, and I'm trimming the pieces. That's why I would have only done it on one edge, like I mentioned earlier. That way I wouldn't have had as much to trim off, but no big deal. You can also see I adhered the brownish colored circle behind it, and that's supposed to look like a pie. Now I'm adding a bit of ink in a very lazy fashion. I'm just taking an ink applicator and kind of rubbing it around it. Now I could have inked every one of those little pieces, but I was just too lazy to do it. Now I'm getting out another die. This one is a large die. It's really a cheap die I ordered from a place called InLoveArt shop. It doesn't cut that well in the sense that the pieces stay in it, but it is giving me a nice scalloped circle with some little holes around it. And what I'm trying to do here is create a plate. Now I cut it out in black, and I'm kind of hesitant. I really don't have black dishes here. I thought black might work. Then what I do is I'm thinking of doing it in orange, but I don't want the orange. And then what I do is turn off the camera and I go cut myself out one in white, thinking that might work. But you're going to see in the end, I end up with a black one. I switch back and forth between the black and the white, black and white. But while I'm playing with my embellishments and I add a bit more black to the embellishing, I end up going with the black plate after all. So that's my pie. You can see I have a bunch of embellishing around me, and I want to find a title right now. So I have titles. They're like foam titles from the Cozy Days collection from Simple Stories. I have 2 that I've selected. One of them is Gather Together, and the other one is Blessed. Now Ronnie's title is up there kind of on that banner. But when I put it up there, I felt like it was kind of lost. But actually, it ends up going at the bottom of those photos, which is even more lost. But you will see in the still shots at the very end, you still see it because foam titles are kind of raised up. And this one has a bit of white accents. You just don't see it here. It's very subtle, and I'm actually quite happy with it. Anyway, at this point, I'm not sure about it, and I'm kind of deciding, trying it out up there by the pie or down there at the bottom of the photo. I also showed you there I have a Viewmaster wheel, and I didn't cut that out on camera because I have a bunch of them in my stash. I used a Viewmaster die from, I think it's Echo Park, and I will put it in the description box below, but it's a little tiny die that I have, and sometimes when I have black scraps of paper, I cut out a bunch of them, and I just keep a baggie of them because they are super, super useful. Same thing for that little tiny camera there. That's a cheap little die, and honestly doesn't cut out very well, so I probably won't even be able to find it, but it's the same kind of thing. Sometimes I cut out a bunch of them in black, and it's handy to have them nearby. You can see there I have out some heart dies. Those are from Stampin' Up, and I cut myself out 3 hearts in that orange paper, mostly because I didn't know what size I wanted to use. Anyway, you can see I have a heart in the middle of that pie. It also kind of overlaps my focal point photo of my brother and my sister. I end up adhering that a little bit later on with some foam adhesive. I am going into the other embellishing pieces here. I have those self-adhesive brads there, and I'm playing around with that, but I end up adding some twine to those tags instead, just like Ronnie did on her sketch there. And I'm almost done here. Honestly, all I ended up doing was adding one sticker on top of the photo that says "Give Thanks" from that sticker sheet, and I also did my journaling, of course. That is it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you check out all the other people who are listed below. Don't forget to go over to Ronnie's channel. She is super, super talented, and also she has a giveaway happening on her channel. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, I'd greatly appreciate a thumbs up. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would be absolutely thrilled if you did. And if you are a subscriber, thank you very, very much. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon on YouTube. Bye-bye.